The Chancellor has said this morning we won't be able to leave on October the 31st. If that's the case, people should hear it from you. Will you admit now that that deadline won't be met and that you've made a promise you can't keep?
Well, I can't say that now because we're waiting, I'm afraid, for our EU friends and partners to decide what they want to do. They obviously, it's in their power now to decide whether or not to have an extension. What we have is a great deal on the table. It's a deal that's been approved by Parliament. And what I'm saying is that it's up to the opposition, it's up to Jeremy Corbyn to decide whether he wants to get this deal done or not. And we're making it very, very clear that we will, as the Chancellor rightly said this morning, we will give some extra time to get this thing done if and only if the Labour Party will agree to an election on December the 12th. And as far as I can see at the moment, the Labour Party is split from top to bottom, and they can't work out whether or not they're in favour of an election, which is the thing they're supposed to be campaigning for the last 3.5 years.
Well, it sounds like your government is split as well. The Chancellor was clear, we won't be able to leave on October the 31st. Was he wrong?
Well, at the moment, it's up to the EU, as you know, to decide whether or not they're going to give us an extension. As things stand, we can leave on October the 31st. Parliament, as you know, has decided that they want to ask Brussels to keep us in the EU. That's not my policy. It's not something I support. I'm totally against it. We should be leaving on October the 31st. At the moment, the EU is trying to make up its mind what to do. We should be leaving on October the 31st. What I'm saying to Jeremy Corbyn and the Labour Party is if they want to make some progress on this and build on the success that we had in agreeing that deal on Tuesday, then it's very, very simple. We can bring back the withdrawal bill, we can discuss it again in Parliament, we can have more debates on Brexit, if that's what he really wants, but they've got to agree a deadline, because nobody will believe that the Labour Party is really going to allow Brexit to happen unless there is a deadline of an election on December the 12th. And let's be clear, this Parliament has been sitting now doing absolutely nothing but delay Brexit, pushing it out with delay after delay for 3.5 years. And I think for MPs across the House to have any credibility about delivering Brexit, they now have to commit to an election on December the 12th. So that's what we're pushing for.
Can I get you to address the Chancellor's words, please, Prime Minister? We won't be able to leave on October the 31st.
No, of course, October the 31st is still possible. We could leave on October the 31st.
So he's wrong.
Unfortunately, it depends on what the EU says. We're in a situation now in which, under the terms of the Surrender Act that was passed by Parliament, it is up to the EU to decide whether or not we stay in the EU.
Okay, you made that point. Can I?
It's up to the EU to decide how long that extension would be. What I'm saying to the Labour Party, to Jeremy Corbyn and the Labour Party, is that they have the opportunity now to get this thing done.
Okay, Prime Minister, finally.
Let me just finish this point. To get Brexit over the line, all they need to do is agree at the same time that we can have more of a debate on Brexit, if they really want, if they really think that's necessary, provided they agree to an election on December the 12th. Now, you would have thought that was a pretty good deal from the point of view of the Labour Party, but they seem unaccountably to be split from top to bottom. We've got Momentum, who are the sort of the commies who back part of the Jeremy Corbyn enterprise, saying that they want an election. They say bring it on. And then you've got loads of Labour MPs led by guys like Keir Starmer and Tom Watson and things who don't seem to want an election. Time for Corbyn. Man up. Let's have an election on December the 12th.
If he doesn't go for it and opposition parties back your motion to hold a general election, you've said you'll give up on government. Just keep trying. Isn't that an irresponsible way to go about things?
Sorry, so I think you're totally confused here. We're going to be governing in the interests of the country. We're going to be continuing with our dynamic one nation conservative agenda, investing in our NHS, levelling up funding of education across the country, doing everything we can to take this country forward. What we won't do is engage in pointless Brexitology in Parliament when Parliament is simply committed to delay. If they will agree, and we'll do all sorts of things to take this country forward, of course we will.
Any new legislation?
What we won't do What we won't do is commit to pointless Brexit debates, pointless Brexit delay, which I'm afraid Parliament has been engaged in for the last 3.5 years, unless they commit to a hard stop, a deadline of an election on December the 12th. Because that is the only way that anybody is going to believe that there really is a commitment by this Parliament to get this thing done.
And if there's no decision by the EU by Monday, what then?
Well, as I say, the offer is there to Jeremy Corbyn and the Labour Party, and I hope they take it.